I do have a question asked the first panel that I intend to ask the second panel, but given the issues and, if I can use air quotes, concerns raised by some of my colleagues, let me try to address the topic at hand. As some of my Republican colleagues have mentioned before joining the bench, the Superior Court bench, Judge Lee published a piece on the treatment of special populations in California prisons, a dynamic I'm familiar with having served in the state legislature. This academic paper presented a factual review of the difficulties that, yes, certain marginalized populations, including women, immigrants, and transgender individuals, face while they're in custody. There is plenty of documented evidence of this. Now, the paper in question, as I reviewed, did not actually take any stance on any of these efforts or advocate for any specific position. Judge Lee, is that correct?
Senator, that is correct.
So there was no stance. With that clarification, is it fair to clarify for the record then that the piece was not an opinion piece?
That is correct, Senator. At the time I was in academia. I was moderating a panel. The people who were speaking at the panel were the experts. Those are not areas which I was an expert of in academia or otherwise. It was summarizing the issues that were presented, the issues which were active, as you mentioned, at that time in California.
Okay. And to reiterate the fundamental question or concern from members of the committee, should you be fortunate enough to be confirmed, how would you make critical decisions respecting precedent, case law, et cetera? How would you or would you not separate personal beliefs, opinions from how you would rule?
Senator, it's something which I do every day. I've done so for nearly the last 5 years. It is an oath I take seriously to uphold. When I put on that robe, I set aside any other outside opinions or politics or things which people discuss, because I'm focused on that case which is before me. That's why I owe the litigants, and I fully, fairly, and impartially follow the law to the facts that are before me.
Thank you very much. Now to my question, y'all were in the audience when I asked this of the nominees on the first panel, and it comes back to the importance of diversity. Number one, would you agree that diversity is an asset to our nation, including the judiciary? And if you disagree, I would like to hear it. If you do agree, what would you do if you're fortunate enough to be confirmed to ensure diversity in your courtrooms with specific attention to law clerks? Because you know how important a quality clerkship experience can be for young lawyers who may seek to someday serve on the federal bench or serve as lawyers in the public or the private sector. We'll start with Judge Bryan.
Thank you, Senator. I think a judicial branch that includes judges from a variety of different backgrounds is one important way that the judiciary can build and maintain public trust and confidence. I do try and hire law clerks that are a good fit for my chambers because you work so closely together. And as you noted, it can be something that really does impact somebody's career. And I'm grateful for my own experience as a law clerk and try to keep that in mind when I approach the hiring decisions.
Thank you. Judge Lee.
I similarly value having that diversity, and it's something which I encouraged in my law students when I was at Hastings to do so, was on the clerkship panel, faculty committee, met with students, mentored students, similarly have done so since I was a judge, and if I were fortunate enough to be confirmed, I would try to reach diversity in every level, geographic, school, and otherwise, in terms of my chambers.
Ms. Robinson.
So I do believe diversity is important. I'm not going to speak about courts and courtrooms. I'm not obviously here for that. I think that it's important as well to recognize diverse creators, authors, and all those across the IP landscape. And if I am confirmed and become the IPAC, I will continue to keep diversity in all of the decisions that I make as part of the strategic plan. And remember those creators that have diverse interest in IP.
Yep. And I appreciate the distinct role that you're nominated for, not just this committee, but subcommittees of the Judiciary Committee have had discussion. Just Exhibit A right now is AI, right? And the both promise and concerns about quickly evolving technology and the need for diversity in inputs if we're going to ensure proper outputs of technology. This is one example of diversity in the IP and technology space more broadly. So thank you for that distinction. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. Senator Haruno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations to each of you on your nominations. I ask the following two questions of all nominees to